I've personally been living with HIV now for 7 years. Just over 6.5 of them 7 years, I have been HIV undetectable. I'm proud to be HIV positive. I'm very open about my status. And I don't think anybody really should be shy of letting other people know that they're positive. It's not as...
stigmatised.
Yeah, it's not as stigmatised anymore as it used to be. Like when I first contracted HIV, I was very scared, very anxious about letting other people know. But then once I did let my close friends know and a few of my colleagues, I kind of realised it's not that bad. It's not a big taboo subject
It's
anymore.
so manageable now, isn't it? That's the thing. It's so, I mean, so from you finding out and you receiving treatment to then going to a stage where you're undetectable, what kind of a time period are we talking? I
started treatment... Well, I chose to start treatment within the first month of finding out I was HIV positive.
Okay.
Within six months-ish, I was undetectable. And that means I cannot transmit HIV to any of my sexual
There's not enough, they call it copies, don't they? There's not enough copies of the virus in your blood count.
But nowadays, people who have contracted HIV, I should say, have got access to treatment that within 4 to 6 weeks you can then be undetectable. So the treatment now is a lot better. In the space of the 6.5 years I've been taking treatment, the treatment has become amazing. It's like some of the new meds are super meds.
So where's the fault here, Peter? Because if we're getting so wise to it and so good at managing HIV, and we are, and you know, compared to some other sexually transmitted infections, it's not the hardest thing. It's not the easiest thing in the world to kind of pass on to somebody else when you compare it to something like gonorrhea or chlamydia. That's quite ezy to pass on because they're bacterial infections. This is a viral infection, so you know the excuse me. And then we're managing it so much better. People who are living with HIV are no longer taking the blame for it, if you will, because they're getting themselves, just like Gypsy, to a point where they are untransmittable to somebody else. Yet we're still seeing more and more new diagnoses.
Well, I always think it's a really positive thing, actually, if we see an increase in diagnoses, because to me that's kind of an indicator that more people are testing, and then therefore the quicker that we test, the quicker that we can start treatment. And
so this could be a spike. This could just be a spike.
Yeah, it could be.
Because the numbers, we don't know the official numbers, but estimates are saying that Manchester 3 times the national average, Salford 2 times the national average.
It's more so around... So the way that they present the data is that a high prevalence of HIV is if 2 in 1,000 people in that area live with HIV, and then extreme prevalence if it's 5 in 1,000. So it's not a concerning thing if an area had a high prevalence or extreme prevalence. It just means that you're more likely to come into contact with someone that's living with HIV. Where we need to remove that fear and stigma is, like we said, a lot of people who are on treatment are undetectable. I think that the rough estimate at the moment is about 97% of people who are positive and on treatment in the UK have got an undetectable viral load, which is crazy, which is so great in terms of where we've come. Where the concern will always be is the people that are living with HIV and aren't aware of it.
Don't know it, yeah.
And I think there's some great news that have come out from Public Health England, and we'd anticipate that in the next couple of days when that data comes out, that we're continuing to see that fall in diagnoses amongst those at risk, most at risk of HIV. But I think the only way that we continue to do that is give people more options to test. So, for example, that when you present somewhere and you want to take that test, that you can take that test. And part of my job is to make that commitment to the community that we increase accessibility so that all members of the LGBT community can take the test.